How do you make a game-changing pack? Well, I'm going to show you how Kinetic did just that, why it took 2 years to make their patent-pending modular KMP pack. The KMP, or Kinetic Modular Pack, holds 11 pods in total. It's a 5 plus 4 plus 2, and it's really only Kinetic's second product. They also make their very popular KPS pants. But there's actually been 3 versions of those, so maybe this is like the 4th thing they've made. It's definitely the second thing they've made that aren't pants. Either way, my point's that they're a newer company competing against some of the big paintball brands like HK or Infamous. So they kind of have to make their products stand out. And if you ask me, the best way to do that is actually make good products that are thought out and work well. And they've taken that approach to the KMP. I mean, one of the biggest problems with packs is when they're under load, they have all that paint back there. They can really just kind of bounce around and move a lot, just making it way harder to make it out to the corner. Most of that bounce comes from them being completely made of foam and elastic. And when you put that 10 pounds of paint under load, on foam and elastic, it's just obviously not going to work well. But you can't completely make the pack rigid. It needs to have some sort of movement. It's just going to be uncomfortable if it doesn't. So to solve this, Kinetic have made it a kind of a hybrid approach, making that back pad rigid, but then also making it flex where it needs to. That's why Kinetic have added 2 things that massively reduce how much that pack bounces up and down. They've added a laser cut piece of Tigress underneath those pods to add a little bit of rigidity to the overall pack. We'll actually talk about what Tigress is in a little bit here. Tigress? I might be saying the name completely wrong. Tigress. And they've innovated their anti-bounce straps that are on the side of the pack. You can see that piece of Tigress sewn right in there to the back panel. And this is one of their final prototypes that they made during that 2-year R&D time. And the main reason I just show these pictures, these prototype ones, is because I want to cut open a brand new pack. Adding Tigress to the back panel just makes it a lot stiffer. So we really don't have those problems of it bending or folding over under pressure. And there are also some strips in between the main 5 pod sleeves. Those strips help support the pods on the outside of the pack, or the ones in that 4 pod sleeve spot. Because that elastic can stretch out, the weight of those 4 pods on the outside just aren't as supported as the ones in that 5 main area. So having that piece of Tigress under those 4 pods on the outside just adds some much needed support and helps further reduce the pack bounce. The Tigress material is made out of polypropylene. It's a woven material. It's extremely strong. And the way they have this set up in there, it just makes it difficult for it to kind of bend over, but it still conforms to your body very well. The Tigress is really kind of like a perfect mixture of strength and pliability or something, whereas the carbon fiber material would be way too stiff and it's much more difficult to cut and sew it. So that's kind of why it's not carbon fiber, it's Tigress. There are other companies that have rigid back panels though. The Infamous packs are really stiff on the back and they kind of prevent that problem as well. But in the Infamous case, the entire back panel is stiff. It's probably just kind of more than it needs to be. And with the KMP, they've added that Tigress where it needs to be. That's why it's laser cut. They've just taken out some sections where it's not needed, so it's able to flex and fit your body well, but still be stiff in the right places to reduce that bending problem. The KMP also addresses the other spot that contributes to movement. That spot right where the belt attaches to the back panel. When your pack is under load with all that weight just pulling down, that elastic can stretch out and make the pack bounce when you run. To help reduce that bounce, Kinetic have created their anti-bounce straps, a rigid strap on the top and an elastic strap on the bottom. By keeping that top strap rigid, it just makes it much more difficult for that back panel or for those pods to kind of tip back, It's rigid, so it doesn't just tip back like it would with elastic. But keeping that bottom one elastic just allows the thing to move a little bit on your body. Sure, you could make the bottom one rigid too, but then it'd be so stiff that it'd just be hard to move yourself around. And thankfully, Kinetic were awesome enough to hook it up with a promo code. So if you want to pick up this KMP pack or maybe check out those KPS pants, use that promo code there at that website there and save 10% off your pack or pants. But for those straps to work correctly, you really need to pull them down tight. To get them engaged, the KMP has a very unique belt that comes in 3 sizes, those sizes right there. and two different pieces. You get the underside that's against your body. It's made of neoprene and has a little bit of padding, but the real action comes with that top strap. The underbelt velcros to the side, and then that top strap is kind of fed through a buckle thing. These buckles are attached to those anti-bounce straps and an additional piece of elastic that's attached at the back of the panel. If you pull it tight, it kind of shores up those bounce straps and then tightens around your body. You can really just kind of see how those straps really lock into place. And then this pack can be used on either side too. So you can kind of like, put it on from this side or, put it on from that side. Cool, you can just take it all the way off. The first time I saw this pack about, a year-ish ago, I really didn't think I'd like it. That belt is so narrow, I just thought that I'd have to make it super tight. But I'm really just used to those elastic packs that I have to make super tight. And because this thing's a little bit more solid and not just all elastic everywhere, you really don't have to make it that tight to feel secure on your body. And I really do like that ratchet system. It's really easy to put the pack on, and it's extremely easy to kind of like fine tune actually how tight it is. But it might make it a little bit harder to rip off your pack to, complain to a ref about, being shot in your pack. I also find that because it doesn't stretch as much as other packs, it doesn't kind of ride up my body the way other packs do. I have a problem. I kind of have to wear packs a little bit higher because my, hips are a little bit wider than my torso. And if I wear it too low, the pack kind of rides up to my torso. But because this thing doesn't stretch as much, it kind of just stays in place a lot better. And I can wear it quite a bit lower than I can traditional packs. And then in turn, it makes it more comfortable. There's also an advantage to wearing your pack lower. It makes it way easier to breathe. You don't have 3 tight pieces of elastic across your abdomen, making it much more difficult to breathe. So having that thing lower just makes it way, way easier to breathe. So if you're running, it's hot, we're playing paintball, you need to breathe. But there's also other packs that aren't moving around, like the infamous packs. They use a 3-belt system, which doesn't move around and works pretty well. But it's so much elastic. You just got to make it really tight to make it not move. And then all that elastic just makes it a little bit harder to breathe. Doing some of these like tests and filming this video, I kind of noticed how easy the KMP is to load too. Well, it might be just as easy off your body, but it's definitely easier for me to load when it's on my body. I kind of have the opposite of T-Rex arms, so that, might help a little bit. But they've kind of done some things that make it a little bit easier. Elastic does a great job at flexing and holding on to stuff, but unfortunately that's also how it wears out, all that stretching. So the KMP, or the Kinetic Modular Pack, you can replace all of the parts. You can get a brand new belt for $25, $60 where you get brand new pod loops, and you can buy a whole new back pad for $80. Imagine if you bought like a $200 paintball mask and they're like, nope, you can't buy foam, you can't buy a lens, you can't buy a goggle strap. That would be crazy. I really like how they're just solid black. I've been wearing the infamous pack for a while, and it's like I'm a walking billboard. It just says Pro DNA huge across my stomach. And the same with the HK Army pants. They just got, HK logos all over the place. And then the Kinetic stuff has been known and is recognizable because it's all black. Like their KPS pants, some of the most comfortable pants I have ever worn. The fabric's just really soft, it's really nice. It kind of feels like it's pre-broken in, it feels really good. Their knees are made out of Cordura nylon, so they're very strong. You get a swab pocket on each side and then 2 front pockets. And the pants also have a unique kind of closure system. They have elastic on the sides and, through the back to keep them comfortable. And then that Velcro closure is very flat and extremely secure. A lot of the paintball pants kind of have a drawstring setup now, which works. But when I have my pack on for a long time, I find that like shoelace or kind of string kind of like digs into my hips and it's just not very comfortable. You're not going to have that problem with the KPS because it's so flat everywhere. And they also fit me very, very well. I can wear the large or the extra large. I kind of feel that the extra large fits me a little bit better just because I have, thick ass quads for some reason. You got to wear the double X in the HK Army pants and they're still a little bit short on me. I'm 6'5", this is a large, and this is an extra large. They just both fit really well. They're probably the perfect pants for tall people. They have a standard inseam of 32 inches, which is like all the ones we have here, but they've actually left some fabric on the inside so you can get them tailored and pull them out to 35 inches. That's really tall. So if you don't want high waters anymore and you're a tall paintball player, or just want long ass pants for some reason, KPS. If you ask me, Kinetic have made the most advanced paintball pack. They thought about it, they made improvements, and they've achieved their goal. They actually made a pack that stands out in a sea of bland packs.